All praises, all glory, all honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, whom rule and teach well, who taught us his truth. Shalom to the elect, the hopeful elect, and you sincere Akim that are pushing this word forth and doing the work to call the bride into the wedding. This is Brother Yashamai from the GMS Atlanta camp, and I searched this video, which is it shows a purification of gold, because after all, the scriptures call us the Most High's gold, and what we see in this video is we see the purification process, and that's exactly what we are doing now. We are Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai is doing to us now. Okay, and this video I searched it because it was inspired by John 15 verse 2. We've been doing our weekly read, and this was one of my this was a scripture that really stood out to me. Coming prior to being in the truth, man. Prior to having the wisdom, knowledge, and the understanding, which by the way, to Wada Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai for giving us that. We may have read the scriptures, but we didn't understand what the scriptures were truly saying. So now, coming into the truth, when you go back and you read the scriptures, man, there's it's got more flavor, man. All right. So let's go ahead and get. Let's start at verse 1. Yeah, this video is not going to be long. It says, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away, and every branch that beareth fruit, he purges it, that it may bring forth more fruit." And that's the focus of this video. Every branch. See, is we bring this scripture up, and we it's more popular to go and break down the first part. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. Like that's and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But what I'm trying to say is that when we read these scriptures, don't just be reading these scriptures to rebuke the next man or to cut a Christian. Read these scriptures so that you can be edified, man, and so that you can be changed, man. Because we are the potter's vessel, right? So every branch that bears fruit. Okay, so now we are this is us. We are bearing fruit. And how are we bearing fruit? Well, first and foremost, to be able to bear fruit, you have to be a part of that vine, man. And this is not something that we ourselves have done. Ephesians goes into it. This is by grace, lest any man should boast, man. So first and foremost, for us to do for us to be fruitful, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai has to be dealing with us, okay? And so now, how do we bear fruit? We bear fruit by doing the videos and feeding the sheep, man. Because that's what Yahweh Shai, he told Peter that. He said, "Peter, do you love me? Yes. Feed my sheep. Peter, do you love me? Yes. Feed my sheep. Peter, do you love me? Yes, I do. I do love you. Feed my sheep." And so that's how we bear fruit. We bear fruit by feeding sheep, man, because you can't come into this truth, absorb the you can't just continue to keep coming to the table just to eat. You have to eat, yes, but then you also have to feed others as well, man. All right. It says, "And every branch that brings forth fruit," that's us, he purges it. See, so we're not free. We're not. isn't just us walking through like a daisy field. This isn't just a walk in the park. Yahweh Shai is telling you very clearly. He says, even if you're doing the work, yes, those people that are not doing any of the work, it says he's going to take it away. But even if you are doing fruit, even if you are doing your videos, even if you have this understanding, it says he's still going to purge you, man. We are not free from the purging. It says that it may bring forth more fruit. Now, I want to get that word purge in the blue letter in the Greek. Purge is right here. It says katairo, and that's to cleanse of filth and impurity, to prune trees and vines from useless shoots, man. And so, even though we're in this truth, man, we're not clean. Matter of fact, let's get that scripture. As filthy rags, right? Right, as filthy rags. It says, but we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as filthy rags, and we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities, like the wind, have taken us away. So even though we have this truth, man, yes, Yahweh Ratazah, we be of that 144,000, and we get that white stone, we get that, spiritual thawah, right? But nonetheless, right now, until that day comes, we are still an unclean thing, man. And you know what? Matter of fact, let's get Micah 2:10. Let's get that real quick. It says right here, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. See, this place has made us polluted, you know. It says, it shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. So even though we're doing the work, man, again, we are as filthy rags, man. Yes, we have the knowledge, but the work's not done, man. We still have to work on ourselves, man. Okay, let's go back to that definition. It says to prune trees and vines from useless shoots. Now, let's get that real quick. Why do you prune trees? Oh, it says right, you prune trees, right? Which this is all spiritual too, because in the scriptures we know that men are likened unto trees. It says you prune trees to improve their health, their safety, and their structure and appearance. So, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, he's going to prune you, man. He's going to take you, he may separate you from your family members. He may take you, from certain jobs. He may ask of you to, change certain habits. Whatever it may be, but everything that he's doing is for what? To improve our health, to improve our safety, and that safety goes into our salvation, man. All right, because as we wait for our bridegroom to come back, what are we supposed to be doing as the bride? The bride before the wedding, she's getting herself ready. She's putting on, she's changing her clothes, right? Arise, arise, O Zion, and put on thy beautiful garments, right? Ain't that what we're supposed to be doing? Well, that's where the pruning comes from, man. It changes your structure, man. So, letting go of certain things, man, it's going to change you, man. Whether that be, watching your diet better, whether that be, maybe not drinking as much, whether it may be, not going out, and staying out late, whatever it may be. I mean, the Spirit is going to reveal it to you. It says, and appearance. It says, which involves removing dead and diseased branches. And, we are in that great city, as mentioned in Revelations 11, verse 8, man. We are in that great city. And that great city, as we got in that Micah 2:10, it's polluted, man. Okay, so, we still have things that Yahweh Shai has to prune us from, man. Okay, so this video is a kind of like like a self examination. What are some things that the Spirit has been showing you that you got to work on this? You got to do more videos, or maybe you got to do, instead of continuously going in on Esau Edom or going, in on Christians, which there's nothing wrong with that. But maybe the Spirit, maybe trying to show you that, hey, why don't you, shift things and start doing videos on faith? Why don't you shift things and start doing things on history? Uh, um, just just to help us with our structure. Okay, it says it involves removing dead branches and increasing the airflow, right? Because once you have that dead weight off of you, man, you can grow more. And so again, that dead weight can be friends, that dead weight can be jobs, it can be anything that is that is inhibiting spiritual growth, man. And Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, He will reveal these things to you, man. It says it controlling size and encouraging growth and fruiting. And it prevents damage to the property or people by creating a stronger, well-formed canopy. So basically, it says it's about directing energy to healthy parts, right? Because if you've got these dead vines on you, man, those dead vines are taken from uh, the dead vines on a tree are taken from the nutrients that are in the trunk, man. So when you cut those dead vines, those dead twigs off, man, your body, the main focus, which is this word, this doing this work, that begins to grow more, man, because now it's getting more nutrients because it's not focusing its attention on other things, man. And John 15:2 isn't the only scripture that that talks about trying, man. Let's see here. Let's get Zechariah 13:9. You know, we always bring this up, to go in on the 2/3, but again, this is a self-examination. This is for us. It says, so this is Zechariah 13:9. It says, and I will bring the third part through the fire. So yeah, 2/3 are going to be destroyed, but the third part is still going to go through the fire and will refine them as silver is refined. And I will try them as gold is tried. So even though the 1/3 is going to be saved, man, we're going to be tried as fire, man. And that video just showed you how fire is tried, man. I want to go back to that actually, because if you were paying attention, if you caught it right here, it weighed 262, I don't know what that is, ounces possibly, or I don't know, micrograms, I don't know what it could be. But the point is that this is, it weighed 262 pounds when it was impure, and when it was 190% pure, which is pretty close to perfect, it weighed 143, man. So it lost about 100 ounces, grams, right there, grams. It lost about 100 grams, man. We are still a work in progress, and Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai will continue to prune us. He will continue to try us as the fire is tried. And I know I said this in the video that I did with the brother. We have a decision to make, because, for example, if you have 100 grams to lose, before Jacob's trouble, I mean, wouldn't you rather begin to lose those 100 grams of filth now while it's easy? Or would you rather lose, 100 grams during Jacob's trouble, man? I'm gonna go ahead and close out. Let's get what is that? Romans 13:11. Romans 13:11. There you go. Yeah, Romans 13:11. It says, "And then knowing the time." And how do we tell time? Well, Second Ezra 9, measure thou the time diligently. How do we tell the time? Well, we tell the time by the prophecies. And the prophecy talks about rumors of wars, right? And is that now what we're seeing with this Greenland, Venezuela, Russia war? We are at that time, knowing the time, knowing the prophecies, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. And yeah, we as men of Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, we have been awakened, All right, but that's the beginning. Now we have to purge. Now we have to cleanse ourselves. Now the bride has to get herself ready for her groom, man. It says, "For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed." Let's begin to get these impurities off us. Let's begin to examine ourselves and get ready to go through that fire. Because look, you know, matter of fact, I'm gonna close off by saying this. Like, look how dirty this thing was right here, and then look how clean this came out. Let's say that this thing wasn't that dirty. Because of this being so dirty, it had to be in the furnace, let's say for 10 seconds. Well, if it was even somewhat close to this, it wouldn't have to be in that furnace of affliction for 10 seconds. It may have only needed to be in there for 2 seconds. What I'm trying to say is if you work on yourself and you prune yourself now through the Spirit of Yahweh Shai, that's less pruning that is going to be done during Jacob's trouble. All right. Hopefully this has been edifying, and until the next one, Shalom.